The new hot thing in the fitness and health market is hormones. Saying the word hormonal imbalance gets people to sign up for fad diets and purchase supplements. But I want to give you some free advice, some things that maybe you should work on to improve your hormones without purchasing that other stuff.
This is the game of food.
This is the game of food.
We're helping real people get real results with delicious food. Real food. Live from Spencer's home studio, podcasting to the world. This is Game of Food. And here's your host, Spencer Frederick.
So my social media is covered in people saying my hormones are off, with people that aren't doctors who are saying, hey, I have this supplement for your hormones, sign up for my fad diet, it'll fix your hormones, coming from, trainers, coming from nutritionists even, coming from chiropractors, physical therapists, and I really think this very important topic should be coming from doctors. And I also think that you should maybe take a look at your lifestyle first to correct some of your hormones and help regulate them and put them in a proper spot, so to speak. So first, I think you guys should know different hormones. And I'm not the hormone expert, but I'm not selling you anything. I'm literally posting this episode, this podcast, to help educate you and to help you maybe go in the right order of things. So I have notes right in front of me on my computer on different hormones that I want to talk about. So let's get right into it. You have the thyroid hormones, T3 and T4. This regulates metabolism. It plays a role in your digestion. It tells you when you're hungry. It tells you when you're full and satisfied. And so you can mess with these hormones by following some of these fad diets where you're eating too small. So have you ever had cravings that like you felt like you could never fill, or a hunger that you could never fill? You were just hungry all day after an extreme diet. Well, you probably messed with the T3 and T4 hormones. You also have melatonin. So that helps you with falling asleep and waking up. And what can mess with melatonin is your cell phone, looking at your cell phone too late, watching your TV to fall asleep, your computer. These things mess with your melatonin that you produce. You have progesterone, testosterone. These are the female and male hormones. I'm reading my notes right now. Progesterone produced by the ovaries, testosterone mainly produced by testicles. You have cortisol. This is the stress hormone. So if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're eating the wrong thing, you're causing stress on your body. If you're working out too much, that's not always common, but you can cause these stresses on your body. Having pain, for those people that deal with pain day to day, that can increase your cortisol levels. And so then you have insulin. So this helps regulate your blood sugar. Obviously, type 1 and type 2 and pre-diabetic people have issues with insulin. Then you have estrogen. So let me read about this one. Women's bodies produce less estrogen when menopause approaches. So these are the different hormones, and there's probably more of them, but I'm not the hormone expert. But there are things that you can control that you need to work on first. So number one, we talked about the hormones related to your metabolism and hunger and feeling satisfied. If you do a diet that is very extreme, you are going to have out of whack hormones when it comes to regulating your metabolism and hunger. Okay? Melatonin. If you are looking at your cell phone too late, it messes with your sleep cycle. You can't fall asleep because of the blue light coming from your cell phone. Same with looking at your computer or your TV at the end of the day. You really should stop looking at these screens probably an hour before you want to fall asleep, so that you have plenty of time of not looking at those screens before you need to fall asleep. Do you drink alcohol every night? This messes with your sleep as well. And obviously, this is a stressor on your body. So it's going to increase cortisol. The next day, think about having a little bit of a hangover. And I don't mean that you're drinking 25 beers every night and you're hungover like crazy, but just having a few drinks is going to cause, a little bit of stress on your body the next day. Okay, and that's going to mess with your hormones. Did you know, guys, listen to me, did you know, men, that if you lose weight, your hormones, the male hormone testosterone and progesterone, will get back to normal levels. Meaning, if you are overweight or obese and you're a man, you have more womanly hormones in some cases. Same with women, only opposite. For those women that are overweight or obese, in some cases, their testosterone is higher. And so my point is, there are things that we can do before we schedule an appointment with somebody pushing some supplement or fad diet. There are things we can do before we go to the doctor with a list of symptoms that we Googled, just so that we're hoping to get some sort of pill that corrects our hormones. This should be last resort doing that. You don't want to mess with your hormones. And in many cases, if you do have hormones that are out of whack, you should look at yourself first and foremost and live a healthier lifestyle and see if that fixes it. Because some of these medications, especially ones that deal with your hormones, might have some very long-term lasting effects. Especially if you didn't even have the hormonal issues to start with. Sometimes you have hormones that are out of whack temporarily. Like if your cortisol levels are higher, you are going to feel kind of like crap for a while. T3 and T4 hormone, helps regulate your metabolism and overall energy. Okay, if you're feeling low energy, maybe there's something wrong with your nutrition. That's where you should be looking first. And I have some clients that are doctors, so I can just ask them, like, what is annoying in your life right now? And it's people walking in wanting these prescriptions to correct their hormones. Men that are overweight or obese, noticing they're not feeling like they did in their 20s, and they want testosterone. They want to take testosterone, when really it would help them maybe more or just as much to lose the weight first. The doctor client that I have says that she meets with a lot of people that think they can't lose weight because of their hormones. Well, my example is, I think you can still starve to death. You know what I mean? If we put you out in a desert with no food, I guess desert is a bad example. So let's say you could still drink water. You could still drink water, but you couldn't have food. I think you would lose a lot of weight. And so that tells me it's the nutrition. And so when it comes to that, I'd be willing to bet that you don't understand nutrition enough to understand that you're not losing weight because of little extra bites, that because of the alcohol, because restaurants are really hard to know the calories, and maybe your sugar intake is really high. You know what I mean? You don't understand that some of those little extra foods and high calorie options are actually having a big effect on your weight loss and not allowing you to make progress. And then you show up to the doctor saying, I bet it's hormones. I demand you give me a pill. I think that is so wrong. And I think you're just making things worse. That's why I'm making this podcast. I am not here making this podcast saying hormones are fake news. Definitely not. I tried to notice them myself. So I looked up the symptoms, especially cortisol. I really try to pay attention to cortisol. I look up the symptoms, and now I kind of know when my cortisol levels are a little high. I shouldn't say no. It is still a guess because I'm not testing anything. But if my sleep is crappy, if my thoughts are kind of negative, there's just a list of things that I go through, and then I try to get better sleep. I'll delete alcohol for a while. I'll clean up my nutrition and eat a damn apple to help correct this. Because I never want to walk into a physical therapist who helps people with injuries and pain, or a trainer who helps people work out. I'm not going to go, hey, do you have a supplement to correct my hormones? That's not the expert. I feel like I am a step ahead of people if I just only go to the experts for what they're really good at. If I feel like I need medication, I'm going to go to a doctor. If I feel like I have pain or I need some rehab, I'm going to go to a physical therapist. If I feel like my back needs adjusting, I'm going to go to a chiropractor. If I feel like my nutrition is off and I can't control it, I'm going to go to a dietitian or a nutritionist. If I need help with workouts, I'm not getting it done, I don't know how to work out, I'm going to go pay for a personal trainer. That I think I'm a step ahead by doing that, instead of just like, hey, who has this secret thing that I can pay for? And then the person just profits off of posting something on Facebook that says, anyone have hormonal imbalance? I have the answer. Click on this link. I hope that makes a lot of sense. This is what's wrong with my industry that I work in. The nutrition, health, and fitness. It's just everybody has their own idea on how to correct what's going on with their body. And in some cases, you can't say anything because people are so sensitive about it. You can't say, no, I think you should look at this other avenue, correct, some of your health, and they get pissed off when it really is the right answer and would help them, and they just don't want to do the work and then get mad at you. Again, for anybody that I might be triggering, that is not my intentions. I believe that there are people that need help with their hormones. That's why we have doctors, endocrinologists who specialize in this field. But I made this to give you a better plan for those of you that want to do it right. What I would do if it were me and I felt like my hormones were out of whack. I Googled symptoms and I felt like I had most of them. I would try to get my full 8 hours of sleep. I would stop looking at my phone 1 to 2 hours before I needed to fall asleep. I would move more. I would set a steps goal. I would track my steps in some way, and I would move more. I would eat more fruits and vegetables and lean protein. I would work out. I would get more sunlight. I would take a multivitamin. I would decrease my sugar, decrease my desserts. I would limit my alcohol or maybe skip some alcohol day to day instead of drinking it every day right before bed. Those are the things that I would do. And then after I did that for some time, I wouldn't do it for 3 days and go, nope, it didn't work. I would do that for multiple months, the best I could, and then see if my symptoms have subsided. And then if they did, then I know that I did the right thing before going to the doctor or going to somebody pushing some supplement or terrible fad diet. And that's what I hope you guys do too. For your own health, I hope that's what you do. Rant complete. Spencer signing off.